Okay, so we are looking at this question, which is from 2008, paper 2, question 6. Now this question is a little bit challenging because even during that time, diverging lengths is not in the syllabus. The only thing that you need to know about diverging lengths is that instead of the rays going towards a center or converging, the rays are going away from each other or diverging. So you just need to know that the rays are going away and diverge. So in order to answer this question, actually what you need to do is to think of this concept and then think of the concept of converging lengths, especially for parallel rays that are parallel to the principal axis. Now we know that the principal axis is here, and we know that these are parallel rays that are parallel to the principal axis. And because of that, these three rays are what we call the principal rays. Now, what does the principal rays do? Okay, let's look at this concept again. Converging lengths, if the principal rays, okay, forgot to mention, this is the principal rays, or the rays that are parallel to each other and also parallel to the principal axis, will always converge at F or to F. Alright, so using this same concept, if let's say now we are not having a diverging length, so instead of converging to F, the only difference is now the diverging lengths are just the same rays, which is the parallel rays parallel to the principal axis, but diverging from F. So the only difference between converging lengths and diverging lengths is that one converges to F, the other one diverges from F. So using this concept, we can start to draw the rays. So if it is a converging length, the rays will have gone like that to this F. Then you realize that the importance of having two F's here, both F is the same distance away from the lens, but on the opposite sides. So in other words, the F that is important is this F. So that means the rays will go like that, and then they seem to have originated from this point. Alright, so in the same fashion, okay, you can draw the other two rays. So remember that the rays that are drawn backwards must be drawn as dotted lines because they are imaginary rays that doesn't really go backwards. So this path are real rays, but they seem to come from the same point here. So that's how you answer the first question. Now for the second question, okay, explain why the rays of light change direction as they enter the lens. So these are pretty standard questions, not a big deal. So how do you answer this? Simply put the two very important points. The rays are changing medium. That means they're traveling from an optically less dense medium to an optically denser medium. Of course, the opposite can also be true. Whether it's less dense to dense or dense to less dense, the rays will also bend. Okay, so this is the first point you must have. But of course, in this case, they are asking why it bends when it enters the lens. So you mention based on the context, it's from less dense to denser. The second point is you need to mention that the speed of light has slowed as it enters the denser medium. Alright, so mention that the change of speed is actually to slow down. And the opposite is also true. If from dense to less dense, it will speed up. So using these 2 points, you should be able to get the 2 marks. Okay, then the last question is very simple. It's just asking you, a converging lens may produce a virtual image of an object. State where the object is placed relative to the lens for the virtual image to be formed. Alright, so again, we have to remember to go back to the table. Alright, the only time when there is a virtual image formed is either u is smaller than f or u is equal to f. But because they want a virtual image to be formed, we know that for u is equal to f, the image is actually formed at infinity. So we should state the first condition, which is u is smaller than f. So the answer is the object should be placed at a distance lesser than the focal point or the focal length, okay, or the distance is lesser than the distance of the focal length from the lens, and then yeah, so that's the answer because it's only 1 mark. Alright, so that's all for this question.